Okay, well, we're getting close to Christmas, and what my wife Karen wants is to just upgrade the coffee table and end tables and a reading lamp table that goes between two rockers. Upgrade them to more of a country look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 1x4 pine, and so that's kind of the pine look it's going to be. And then I've got some square tubing here, and I'm going to take that and make the legs for the tabletops to fit on, and they'll be black. So she kind of likes that black kind of farmhouse look, and so I'm going to make the tabletops out of the 1x4s, weld together the underneath legs and support for it, and then we'll see how it turns out. So need to get it done because Christmas is coming, and presently speaking, it'll be something to wrap on the tree, or maybe put the tree on it. Okay, so what I got to do is I've got to put these cross pieces across the bottom of the table, glue it. I've got it clamped tight, and then I'll screw it in, and that'll hold those all together, and then also provide an 1.5 inch edging to put the trim around the outside to finish off the edge. So anyway, let me glue and screw. Glue and screw.
Made a little trip this morning and got some bushings and seals for the 7140 Magnum. So the first step is I need to take that, pull the bushing out. It's a little brass bushing, I believe it's brass, and then insert the new one. So then that way we can put the seal and bearing and all that stuff back onto that one, and then clean up everything a little bit and then start assembling it, and we can put the wheel back on. Now, there's other parts of this Magnum that's still on order. Nick ordered some bushings for that front axle on the pivot. There's a little bit of slop up and down on the whole axle to the frame, and those aren't in yet. We have some hydraulic stuff that we ordered, so a couple cables, a few things to make this tractor work a little bit better. The hydraulics in the bucket's always been funky. We'll get to that in the next video, or whatever video we decide to do when we get the parts. Saying that, I'm gonna stop rambling and start fixing. All right, let's pull that, that bushing right there out. Oh yeah, that's working. Now, before I put this in, I'm just gonna show you the difference. Here's the old bushing. As you can tell, looks pretty. I'll keep this in case I want it for the lathe and make something out of it. Here's the new one. It's got little grooves in there. And the idea of that is when the planetary oil surrounds it, it'll lubricate that shaft, so then that way it's able to stop any wear and tear. The original bushing did not have it. So it will be better to upgrade the part so we can save this. Little trick I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the original bushing. I didn't tear it up when I took it out. I'm gonna set it up on top. I'm gonna take the shaft, stick it in there, so then that way I can put a block here and beat this on, and it's just gonna protect that bottom one so I don't damage it. And I'll just keep on tapping down, or, well, that's working. Maybe I'll just do that. Or I'll just tap it in, we'll see. This will work. You guys good? Okay. All right, now with the bushing in, let's see if it goes in. Perfect. And how much slop does it have? Just a little tiny bit, but I think that's normal. Okay, old bearing bushing out of the way. Let's flip it over and let's put the seal on the back, and then the other hub assembly has the bearing and so forth that'll go on here. And we will have to put this on first, and then the hub assembly, I believe, with the planetaries, and go from there.
Okay, well, I couldn't show you me doing a lot of the sawing and putting together because my camera battery went dead. So, and I want to get this to this stage anyway. So, but anyway, I've got the table, the coffee table, and then the two end tables roughly done. I still have to route the edges, do a little sanding and prep work, and then I will build the base, the legs, and the platform to set the tabletops on out of the 1.5 square tubing. So, but anyway, this table isn't the end result yet. All right, so what I gotta do is I gotta make one more. It's between our two rockers facing the fireplace, and it's a table lamp, so we can just set our coffee on, or magazines, books, whatever. So I've got to make one more of this out of the material, and then pretty much the wood construction will be done. Okay, now I just got to put the trim around the edges, finish off the edges, and then when I get that done, I'm going to take and route all, just kind of round off all those sharp edges and the corners, and then sand it and then get it to the stainer. Well, now I'm going to go ahead and cut out the 8 legs for the end tables, 4 legs for a magazine table lamp, and the 4 legs for the coffee table. So I've got the 1.5 inch square tubing here that I'm going to use, and I'm going to make the bottom leg assembly, weld it all together, and then we're going to paint it black, and then we'll put that pine deck top on the top of this. So anyway, I've got a little bit of cutting to do. 12 legs that are going to be finally end up, the table will be about 21 inches or so, and then 16 inches tight, so about 14 something on the coffee table. Okay, let's cut. Okay, so I cut out the individual legs and cross members to form the table bottom, the support area beams, and this one here is the reading table. I'm just kind of getting it lined up, and I'll get it all true, get it perpendicular to the table so that everything's true, and then weld it. But I did go ahead and clean up all the ends and then washed it down, because new iron has oil coating, so it keeps it from rusting, and that doesn't help very much when you end up trying to paint it. So I washed it down with super clean detergent and water and got them all clean, so that should be good. So now it's just a matter of getting it all kind of lined up, get it tacked, make sure it's all true, and then go to the process of welding the bottoms together. And then when I get done, we'll prime these, and then we'll go ahead and paint them black.
Now, I was going to install the seal and put it in, but I noticed, and you got to look at details, this seal, the one that I just pulled out, goes in this way. And so I need to make sure that I get the same way. Well, here's the issue. By the way, I have a little shim to space this one out because it's thinner. There is no place to pound it in this way. If you flip it around, you got a flat face to put a socket or something to pound it on, but that's not the direction it goes in. So what I'm going to do is go find a pipe on the lathe, lay that out so it can fit right on the inside and not on the seal, and then that way I can use that pipe to pound it in, and then we won't have to worry about damaging it. So let's go to the lathe and machine a little piece to install this little seal. Let's see, go find a pipe. Sometimes I get lucky with scrap pieces I have here. A bottle of water, that's not where that goes. There we go, found it. Let's cut off a section, put it in a lathe, and turn it down. Okay, that'll work. Now I can take a hammer and put that little spacer that they had in it, stick that in and tap it in. Now, this is all together except for I still have to slide the shaft in there to go into the splines to that yoke, but I can't do that until I put this hub on. Now this is the bearing that rides on the back, and I've got the new seal here. There's the new seal. Now that I've carefully removed the seal, it says oil side, so I'm assuming that goes that way. Yeah, I know, it goes that way. I just have to, oh, what happened to that old seal? If I take the old seal, put it on the lathe, I can cut off this little ream and then set it on top, and then I don't damage it. Otherwise, I gotta find something else to tap it in. All right, somebody took the old seal. Hopefully they didn't throw it away. Let me go ask somebody. Went and asked somebody. It was my dad. He put the seal, oh. That kind of blows my thoughts on using this thing. Pretty damaged there. Backside's not too bad. I might be able to cut that out and use it, but all right, let's see what I can do. All right, cut out. Let's take the seal and make a little sandwich out of it. And then this seal will go in here. But before I put this on, I'll put a little bit of gasket, all that fun stuff that's gooey, and smear a little bit around. Actually, I'm gonna smear it in this right here, make it easier when I put it in. And then get a block, or actually I'll probably end up getting a big plate of iron and set it on top of this, and then tap it in. Just making sure I didn't damage the seal, and it looks like it's perfectly fine. That little trick right here worked really well. I didn't make it up. D-Boss Garage actually had a pretty good idea of using this thing. He's got a video on doing this. He's got a pretty good, actually really detailed videos. So if you guys are trying to do this, go watch him instead of me. Anyways, let's put this on. Looks like it's good. Now I took a couple lug nuts and put them around, tightened it up so I can smush that thing, smush that thing really tight. And then I put those 2 Allen wrench screws in there, and we are done with the wheel seal. Now the next thing I gotta do is I gotta pull that hydraulic cylinder off. We got a seal kit, and I'm gonna put some seals in it. Hopefully, I don't find anything surprising in that cylinder, but as you can tell, there's a big puddle of oil in the ground. Yeah, it's due. Okay, let's pull that cylinder off, and before I do that, I better clean up my mess. Nick helped, but I'll clean it up, so.
So I got the magazine stand roughly put together, and what I did is the open end of the square tubing, I'm welding a washer on the bottom so that it can drag across the carpet without catching or ripping on the carpet. And so that'll provide a pad for it not to sink down in. And then I have the square tubing welded well enough to hold easily the tabletop and whatever we put on it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and take the coffee table legs, and I'm going to do the same thing with this washer, and I'll weld it just like that on it, and then that'll give me a pad for the table to sit on the carpet. Okay, let's weld another one. Okay, so as you can see, I welded just the ears. That's all it's going to take to keep that washer on, but it will still slide and it won't press into the carpet. So I'm going to do that to the other legs, and then I'll take the polishing grinder and I'll just smooth this off, make it smooth, and then we can build the rest of the frame. Okay, I have all this frames welded for the 4 pieces that I need for the end table, coffee table, and a reading lamp table for the living room. Anyway, so now I've got to make a bracket so that I can bolt the top to the frames. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these and cut them out, but I'm first gonna drill holes right there, a couple holes so that they'll go right in the corners, and then I can bolt the top or screw the top to from the underneath side, so that you won't see any, holes on the top or bolts, whatever. But that way it'll secure to the top. Then I'll also put a couple flat pieces across in the middle so that it'll firmly anchor the top to the table. So I need to go over and drill some holes, and then I'll slice them. Okay, there we go. So that's where the platform is going to be, or tabletop's going to be screwed in onto this one. So, all right, I've just got 3 more pieces to do, and then clean them up a little bit and prime.
Now, I tried to take the cap off to pull that cylinder out, and here's the issue. The cap doesn't just have threads and screw in. They've got a little bar like this right here that locks into it, and you rotate that aluminum cap and it pulls it all the way through in a groove, wraps it around inside, and then that's what keeps the cap on. And then to undo it, you take the cap and you rotate it the opposite direction and it'll force that out. Here's the issue. Water over the years have gotten in there and dirt's gotten in there and it's rusted that thing solid in there, and as I was trying to take the aluminum cap off, it's just tearing the cap up. And I can't get it to budge. I can't get it out. So I called our dealership, and come to find out, you have to buy a whole kit for the cylinder, which comes your piston and your gaskets and everything else and your seals, even the end cap, and that's $650. Yeah, get that one. So then I was like, well, how much is a reman cylinder? $995 with a core exchange. Ouch. I don't want to spend that kind of money on that cylinder. So we went online, found a cylinder for under 500 bucks, and we ordered it. So I'm just going to take the cylinder, just put it back on it. It'll leak for a little bit until the new one gets here, and that's how that's going to be. Yep. Fun. But it still has to leak through the other side, and I'm making a mess. Wow. There. Anyways, it's got to leak to the other side of the bearings. So I'll come back and check it later once it's done all that. Just kind of tighten this up a little bit. And then if it's too much, I'll drain some out. But there. That'll work. Get some floor dry, put it on there, and call it good.
Okay, on to the next phase. If you really you're not in the know, hire a pro. So
Not me.
I got my pro here.
Nope.
I can fabricate, but she is good at painting, staining, and that kind of. She has the patience and the fortitude to do it and do it right. So that's a stain on my record, but not hers. But anyway. So we're priming it. So we're putting a gray primer on it because that's what we had upstairs, and we've got 2 quarts of it, or 2 gallons of it, so might as well use it. Then we got glossy black that we're gonna, after this dries, we'll paint it glossy black, and then we'll stain the tops, and then attach it, and they should be ready to have the grandkids roll their toys across it.
New cylinders here for the Magnum. So I'm gonna put that on. The steer cylinder is, yeah, it needs replaced. It's wore out. So let's change it out, put a new one on. All right, one greasy job done. Let's fire up and run the steering back and forth and see how it works. I hopefully got the alignment right on it. It should be okay. I followed the same threads as the other one, put it in the same spot, so we'll see. Let's find out. Yeah, looks good. This tractor did have a problem. When you were driving, it would steer to the right. You had to keep taking the steering wheel and slowly turning it to the left. Really slow, but it was noticeable. So that more likely was our culprit. So hopefully that's fixed.
Okay, we are now at the finished project that I started just before Christmas. I did the ironworks, and my wife did the coloring works. And she's very pointed in when she does something, very articulate, but also she wants it done right. So I'm glad to turn that over to her. But anyway, so we made these coffee tables. I used square tubing, as you saw in the video, welded them together, and I made 4 units. And then we used pine for the top. And one thing about pine is that you're really not sure how it's going to turn out when you're staining it, because it's such a soft wood with hard parts in it. So it accepts stains at different amounts. And then plus the coloring. But Karen's very particular in what she does. And so I want to just let you look at the tops. And I think they turned out very, very well. To buy these units, we saw something similar to this in a store. And they wanted almost $300 for each end table, and about $500, $600, $700, $800 plus for the coffee table. And then that unit there I made because that's going to be our magazine rack. I haven't finished yet because we have parts coming. There'll be a lamp right here that's adjustable, and it sits between our 2 gliders that sit in front of our fireplace, which is right there. So anyway, this turned out well. I added a little accent of bolts that are put into the face of the trim around the tops, and that just really brought the unit together. So we saved a lot of money by doing it ourselves. We got what we wanted, and I'm pleased on how it turned out. So we won't table this right now. You never know, we might build more. But it's very fulfilling to see what finally happens after you have an idea. So hats off to my wife in completing this and making it look stunning and stand out. And I think there's some other projects in the works.